Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea, a channel for marriage-minded men. Today I want to talk about half a dozen more things that I would be concerned about if I were to retire in the Philippines. So please subscribe here to Love Beyond the Sea. I've got about 1,700 videos, mostly about relationships. It could be with a Filipina or with somebody else. But a lot of times I'll talk about the Philippines. I've been there a handful of times. So recapping the last one, the first one, the most important one, retiring in the Philippines, my biggest concern would be where to get my hair cut. They'd have to do a high quality job. Kind of serious. I talked about second thoughts. You don't want to go out there and then regret your decision. The heat, for some, is a factor. Some parts of the year it can be extremely hot. You got to transfer all your money to live on there, and then you got to manage all that money, probably pay taxes, I guess, if you're on Social Security. You've got making a new beginning was a concern. I wouldn't want to go out there and just do nothing. What happens if my wife dies was another concern I had, went into a little bit of detail on. And then the medical care, for me, is a concern. I don't think they can do all of the things that they can do here in the United States, where we live. Now, another 6 I will mention here, and please leave a comment if you've ever gone to the Philippines and dealt with some of these things. From what I've read, most of the people that retire in the Philippines, expats, within about 3 years, they're gone for a variety of reasons. Some of them could be right here. Another one I'll mention, and leave a comment too if you've had similar thoughts. How about my privacy? Now, I didn't get married until May of 2015. Wow, it seems like a long time ago. And I lived by myself except for one time when I had roommates. And I had kind of accepted my privacy and liked having it. My wife with me has not made me feel at all like I have had to give up any privacy. Living under the same roof with my wife's family, our family in the Philippines, where we have a house, it would certainly be challenging for privacy. Maybe that's a good thing. My mother lives with us here, and that's gone okay, but she doesn't make a lot of noise. It's not like having 5 or 6 other people there. Most likely, having a house full of people wouldn't prevent me from doing what I want to do. I don't think I'd be doing a whole lot if I retired there. And a good thing about having family members of all ages, it would add a lot of variety to my life, something I really haven't had. And my wife's family is very important to her. They know me from the times I've been there and talked a little on camera, and I think we would get along well. I think at first they were a little leery about me because the first time, maybe 2, I tended to stay in the condo with air conditioning and didn't like being in the heat, sweating so much. I just was kind of taken back by the heat, and I think they thought initially I probably was being antisocial or, I don't know, uncomfortable with them. And that wasn't the case at all. After that, we've been, we have a house built there, and it's got air conditioning and all of that. And the heat really isn't so bad until the evening, then it gets dark around 6 p.m. So the evenings aren't that bad. That would be a great time to get up and move around. You probably wouldn't notice the heat much at all. So another one, as I kind of alluded to, would be living with our Philippine family, and that's what we would plan on doing. My concern isn't living with or around her family per se, but not being in my comfort zone of a more controlled environment. I want to get to know each of them better, and I would be able to, I assume. I want them to know I care about them. I want us to be comfortable around each other. I want to be accepted as one of the family. And while this might require the biggest adjustment, maybe it yields the biggest blessings. Having our family there with us would be a benefit of living in the Philippines. I know a lot of people are quite, against that. Another concern I would have would be so many people. if you've been to Manila, which I'm not really referring to, that's a ton of people, like 10 million people. Where I live, I think we're up to about 280,000. That might be a little high. Davao, currently, last time I saw, daytime population about 2 million, otherwise 1.5 million. Don't know how that works out, but so I know what that's like. And we've been to Manila the first time I ever had to go there. I'd never seen anything like it. So I hope Davao continues to develop. Maybe it'll look different, the next time we're there. And our home is currently at the end of a long street with some homes on either side, but it's not crowded. There is some elbow room that provides a sense of escape from the vast population over there. Location, location, location. Another concern, expats. If we were to live in Davao, I just don't see a lot of expats over there. I did see more in the mall the last time I was there. The reports of how expats get along with each other have not been glowing. A while back, I remember having the thought that I wanted to be around a lot of expats, but that has been lessening in importance since I have been thinking about what I might do there, to stay active physically and mentally. I certainly have my routine over here. No doubt, however, I think it would be nice to know some expats over there. And another concern I have, which some of you may desire, is the slower pace of living. Initially, this concerned me since I'm not used to that, living in America all my life. And I've been in the Philippines 4 or 5 times. I've gotten a little feel for the place. It hasn't been all that slow, but I haven't been living there. I think a lot of people like it right away, early on, and after a few years, they just can't do it. I went to the doctor there one time. We went, and we got there when the office opened, signed in, waited to be seen. We were seen, sent somewhere else to get a CBC, which is a complete blood count, at another place. We traveled there, signed in, waited our turn to get the blood test, then drove back to the first place with the results, signed in, waited our turn, in line, sitting down to be seen by the original doctor. Don't even think there was anything for him to do, really. And I can interpret my own CBC. Now, in America, with an appointment, this probably takes half an hour, maybe 20 minutes, if you have an appointment. I don't think appointments are common in the Philippines, so you probably want to show up early to avoid sitting in a long line. Maybe you won't mind. Now, this slower pace is something I ought to get accustomed to. It might be good for my nerves to start accepting this before I went. So when initially it presents a challenge, eventually I see it as having potential to be a good thing. Last one I'll mention here, danger, a little bit of a concern, danger. The final one. Now, I wasn't even going to include it since my wife says Davao is very safe to live in, and I absolutely believe her. We haven't had any trouble. I just wonder if that, will still be the case in the future. Plus, I would want to travel with my wife to different places in the Philippines that she hasn't been to, and it would be more dangerous, I think, in some places than, what she's used to. So those are some concerns that I had about potentially living there. There are some good things too, obviously, or wouldn't even be a consideration. But at the same time, there are some things you want to think through very carefully before you pull the trigger and go out there, because I don't think you want to go out there and have regrets. So learn all you can about, videos like this. Watch other videos of expats and, let them describe to you what it's really like if they've been there for a few years. And I think that would be very helpful to you to allay concerns. Now, something I'm not concerned about, though, is being there with my love beyond the sea.